and appropriate for this time of year with the holidays. And it involves the Curry family, a gentleman named Tommy Curry. We'll tell you more about him and his in-laws and their story that really all revolves, for this particular story, around the lovely and talented Romaine Toohey, who's over at Monarch Meadows. And so it's an interesting story. It's the kind of thing that's going to make you smile a little bit. And I hope will restore a little bit of your faith in humanity, as it feels like most of it's gone lately, because as we look around the world, I think this one will put a smile on your face. So we'll do that and so much more when the Jake Show continues on a New Year's Eve, 15 degrees and a little overcast at KTOE. Here we go, 11:09. It's the, I know it sounds cliche, but it's the final Jake Show of the year. A brisk start to the new year also. Weather-wise, there's a little glimmer of hope, because after a very cold, what classified as a dangerously cold night tonight and tomorrow night, it's going to be pretty chilly. We will start to warm up about 10 above on Sunday here anyway. Lambeau Field will have the weather we have tomorrow. And then on Monday, though, we're going to see like 30 on Monday, 32-ish on Tuesday. So it'll bounce right back, and we can start the new year on with a little spring in our step. Happy and healthy and refreshed. That's what we're shooting for. So I stumbled across an interesting story, if you will. And when I say stumbled across, I mean Tommy Curry reached out to the radio station. So he stumbled across me, I guess you could say. And when I read about this, and when I saw his email, I thought, this is just this is the coolest thing. I want to get more information on this, and I want to dive into this more and find out exactly what's happening. So let me give you a little bit of just a brief little bit of background. So Tom and his family, his parents had started this thing a while ago, or his in-laws' parents, I guess. And the idea is to take every family member takes $20, and they go out and they see how much good they can do in the community, in the world, wherever, however, with their $20. Okay. Now, $20 is not a lot of money, obviously, even when this all started. And we talk about this a little bit in the interview. But the idea is it's not just about the $20. It's about coming back to Christmas then, as they all gather as a family, and sharing your story, telling everyone, here's what I did. Here's how I did good with my $20, and here's what came about of it, and here's how it happened, and here's how. So it becomes this story, and it becomes this moment of sharing, which I think is. You notice there was no mention of a phone or an iPad, or there was no digital social media anywhere in that conversation, and I thought, what a really, really cool, wholesome way to do that. Well, here's the backstory that leads us to today. So Tommy Curry wants to reach out and use his $20 because he lives up in the cities. His family's in they're all in the Chaska, Shakopee, Burnsville area. He wants to use his $20 to reach out and say, to buy a part of a radio spot so he can say Merry Christmas to his grandma, Romaine Toohey, who's over at Monarch Meadows. And he thought, wouldn't this be a great way to do that? Boom, boom, boom. So he reached out and was like, how do I go about this? Can I buy $20 worth of airtime? And I thought, better yet, I can give you 8 or 9 minutes of airtime and we can just discuss the whole thing, because I think it's a really, really cool thing. So what we did is, because of schedules and COVIDs and the whole works, is that we did this on the phone, and we recorded it last night. They're on a speakerphone. And I'm in a studio that's not my normal studio. So there might be a couple spots where you're like, what are they doing? It's just the world that we live in, and the point comes across, and it's really well. So what we want to do is, I kind of just said, let's just start this off by tell me a little bit about yourself and how this is going. And just so you know, we've got Tom and Katie Curry on the phone, and then I've got Tom's in-laws, Dan and Chris, on the phone as well. So let's just start with Chris.
Okay, well, I am Chris. I'm Tom's mother-in-law. He's married to my daughter, Katie. And it actually, about 10 years ago, it was my mom's idea to give the adults $20 and to spread joy, do good, and then all come back at Christmas time. So she gave us the $20 at Thanksgiving, and we came back at Christmas, and we all told our story. And then whichever one the family thought was the best was the winner. And then my husband decided this year to start that with our kids. And that's kind of how Tommy and Katie, Tom came up with the idea of spending his money to wish his grandma a Merry Christmas, which is amazing. We're not sure if he won yet because we haven't voted on it yet. So, because we have a child that isn't in town right now. But yeah, so that's kind of how it started, and spread good and do something nice for somebody. So that very first time, about 10 years ago, our youngest son, was playing basketball. He was in 6th grade, and one of the other kids came to pictures where they take pictures of the basketball players, and his parents were going through a nasty divorce, and he didn't have any money for pictures. So my husband thought that would be a great idea to give our $20 to him to buy his pictures, basketball pictures. So that's kind of how it started, and, you know, it felt good, and we wanted our kids to have that same feeling too, and that's what we did.
So what you're saying is it's just like, how much good can we do, and for a small amount, which I think
exactly.
is the brilliant part of this is that the idea of like it's a tiny amount. It's $20.
It is.
Yeah, that was kind of our problem with it this year, was going, you can't do much with $20, so how it's kind of more about just doing the stuff than the actual money, you know.
Yeah, it's that's what's great about it, is the idea of like, we're just going to do good to do good, and it's not about, because most people, I think they fall back to this idea of how much money can I throw at it and make it work, right? And you guys have almost taken the opposite approach, because $20 is almost laughable, right? I mean, you can't buy anything.
It doesn't take a lot of money to brighten somebody's day.
You're right, exactly. It doesn't. And that's, I think, what is so great about this whole concept. So, so the Merry Christmas idea, the holiday wish, how is he not the winner already?
We at least got to listen to the other stories before we give it to him.
He's radio play. He's on the radio. He's got to be the winner. I would think that's obvious, right?
That'll help him.
Well, yeah, he probably will win. They probably will win. I kind of think they will.
Well, I wasn't even able to spend any of the money at the radio station, though, so we ended up actually using the $20 to do something else as well, so.
It's kind of a double whammy, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, right? My plan was to buy, I wanted to buy a 5-second radio ad that would then play in Mankato and just wish my grandma happy birthday. I wish her a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays all the time, but then I realized that $20 wasn't going to buy an ad, so I just tried to go the other route instead.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but $20 will buy beer, and DJs love beer.
Yeah, I believe that.
There's always that concept. So just give us an idea. What are some of the other things that you guys have done over the years with this contest and this idea?
Well, so this year I have a friend that I work with. She's a speech pathologist like I am, and she was diagnosed with tongue cancer. And so we gave her, and she's getting a treatment down at the Mayo Clinic. And so she's traveling from Chaska down to Mayo Clinic every weekend to get radiation and cancer. So we gave her gas cards for gas money to get her back and forth. And actually today is her last day of treatment down there. She's been down there for 6 weeks. So, just a little helping her. She's a single mom, one child, and trying to do it on her own. So that's what we spent our money on this year.
Which I think is also commendable, isn't it? I mean, that's still a great pursuit. That's the whole idea, is doing good here, right?
Exactly. And then to tell the story so that everybody can feel a little bit of what, like Tom has put in so much thought and effort to this, and so he's really, we tried not to do, where you just kind of throw money at people, just to try to think about something that will make a little good for them and spread joy.
And the joy part is what I think is so nice, and it's so special. And you guys, you're in, just to refresh us, you're in Shakopee, right? Or the Twin Cities area?
Yeah, Chaska, Shakopee, and Burnsville are where we all live in.
Okay, so you're probably not very, very familiar with the Jake Show. Soft and sappy is not my typical style. But as I always say, I have a very soft spot for kids and soldiers, and a story like this to me, I just think it's just such a great example of a little tiny thing that people can do that can spread so much joy and do so much good. Because again, the $20 is irrelevant. It's not about that. I mean, he hasn't even, Tom hasn't even spent the $20 yet. It's all just been about the conversation and getting it on the radio.
Right.
What are your plans for next year? Are you going to keep this thing going, or are you going to do something different?
Oh, I was so glad when my husband Dan, when he started this, I'm like, I kind of forgot about it. My mom passed away about 5 years ago, so we really haven't thought about it since she has passed, and so now it's kind of brought to light again and kind of, brings good memories about her too, so that we can give other people, joy.
I think we'll keep it going.
I like where your head's at, sir. I like where your head's at. Keep it going. I think it's fantastic. Well, listen, you guys, what you're doing is phenomenal. I would feel bad if we didn't do the actual shout out for happy birthday to Grandma. So do you guys want to do that now?
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I would love to do a Merry Christmas, and it's past already, but a Happy New Year to Romaine Toohey. She's over at Monarch Meadows.
And very, very, very well said. Well, listen, I know that everybody says this, and it sounds cliche, but I mean it. If you guys do this next year, please call us back. We would love to help you however we can. I think it's a fantastic thing that you're doing. The spirit of it is amazing, and it's nice to see that there's still this is going to sound cheesy, but it's nice to see there's still some good in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'll see me on the Today Show next year.
Whatever we can do to help, my man. Whatever we can do to help. Who knows? Maybe we'll get him on the Today Show next year. So I when I found about this story, I just thought it was a fun story. I thought it was nice. The concept of what they're doing in conjunction with the holidays. And yes, for the record, I do realize that I said happy birthday to Romaine, not, should we say, Merry Christmas. So, but, I think what it was is Tommy slipped earlier in the interview and he had said, I wanted to wish my grandma happy birthday. And then he went, Merry Christmas. And then it stuck in my head as well. So thank you so much to Tommy and his wife, Katie, who never said anything. She was pretty quiet. And then his mother-in-law, Chris, and her husband, Dan, and he was pretty quiet also. But they told a great story in the history of it and what you can do with $20. And I can't stress it enough. I think the beauty of that whole concept is it's just there's so many facets to it. Not only is it going out and doing something good in the world with only $20, it's coming back and telling the story, and then the family voting on whose story was best about what they did and how they, did it. And it forces you to get creative, and it forces you to think about someone and something other than yourself during the holidays, which we could always probably use a little bit more of. It's 15 degrees at KTOE. It's kind of pretty, actually. I see some frost on the